for joining us. As you know, we have Alma Analytics now update on new and upcoming features. We have 25 minutes. Within those 25 minutes, I want to overview what we've done so far in 2020, where we're headed in 2021. And I don't want to focus on small, specific, individual developments like a new field here, a new folder here. I want to talk big themes. What have we done? What do we plan on doing? So 2020, we can call the year of the infrastructure. Two major things we did in 2020 are we changed the database to a whole new system known as InMemory, and we upgraded to OAS in DV, that's Oracle Analytics Server in DV data visualization. The InMemory is complete. There's a few fine tunings we're doing here and there. The upgrade to Oracle Analytics Server in DV, which we're going to look at a little more in depth right now, is something which is almost done. There's still a few more environments we need to do. So this, like I said, we've got 25 minutes. We're just going to show what we can, just the super major stuff. Everything here is subject to possibly change regarding the future things. So this is the Oracle database in memory. A lot of institutions that are large institutions have had situations where using analytics has not been, let's say, an optimal situation for large amounts of data. This has been primarily with network zone institutions, but not only. There are some standalone institutions which are larger than some network zone, but primarily the large institutions are network zones. What we have here on the screen right now is some actual real live numbers of what has happened. For example, here we're looking at 5 reports. These are network zone institutions, as it says in the first bullet. And you can see these reports would time out before the in-memory. And now they take 53 seconds, 35 seconds, 109 seconds. So they timed out. Now they're taking 2 minutes, less than a minute. The worst case scenario, 479 seconds. Divide that by 60, we'll have how many minutes? And that's the biggest one. So there's been a very serious improvement there. Here on this slide now, I'm looking at non-network institutions. I just did switch slide. They look pretty much the same, but this is another slide. Here they weren't timing out before the in-memory, but they were taking a lot of time to run this first column that says seconds to run before. And now we can see the great improvement in the last column, 96 seconds instead of 596 seconds. Look at that last one. It used to take 2,417 seconds. Now it takes exactly 1 minute, 60 seconds. We had a group of institutions who we were working with. We like to work on all of our developments with various groups of institutions. And we're going to get to that later. We're going to be soliciting more institutions to come work with us. So here an institution says, much appreciated, getting good performance out of the network zone. Another one says the reports are coming to completion in a reasonable amount of time. Good news there. This was during a webinar when we were talking about the in-memory. One said it usually takes minutes, took a couple of seconds. The other one says it seems faster. The other one says substantial improvements. So that's the in-memory. It's a completed project. However, there are cases where we still see we need to do a little fine-tuning, whether it be adding statistics, changing around the database structure, but generally speaking, the project is over. We've seen improvement. Mission has been accomplished. We're moving on. Upgrade to OAS in DV. This was a long project. And here we want to very much thank all of our early testers, early adopters. We put this out to 12 institutions in North America already over a year ago. Originally, we were going to upgrade to OBI 12, Oracle Business Intelligence 12. By the time we were in the middle of the project, Oracle came out with OAS, Oracle Analytics Server. We said if we're already upgrading, we're going to go to the Oracle Analytics Server. That's what we did. So now we're Oracle Analytics Server and DV. let me just do this. Sorry about that. I got this login thing going on here, and I'm going to have to hit my telephone in a minute, but that's fine. So why did we do this? It's a much more advanced version of OBI, the Oracle Business Intelligence. It allows many new features, using an input file, doing forecast, doing trends, all kinds of different visualizations. You've got here a series of YouTube videos, a series of blogs, and I want to go out and show those. So for example, if you go to YouTube and you just do a simple search here on YouTube and you say, for example, OASDV or even data visualization, X Libris Analytics, anything like that in YouTube. So you've got a whole list of videos which we've prepared about all different features with the Oracle Analytics Server in Primo, in Alma, eventually. It already works in Leganto and Explorer, however, we don't have videos on that yet, but we will. All of the higher education platform. Now you've got for Alma and Primo here. And let me just show a little example here of something, because there's two major areas which we want to talk about. One, which we're going to look at right now, is a forecast. So for example, here I'm looking at a field, the transaction date year, and here I'm looking at the expenditure for physical materials, the expenditure for electronic materials. And what we see on the screen here is a forecast. We have up to 2019, then you see 2020, 2020, 2021, which obviously is the future, 2021, 2022, part of 2020. That's a forecast. And if we look here on the left and we go to the analytics section, we can see we have various types of forecast models. ARIMA, seasonal ARIMA, ETS. You can choose a forecast model, choose the periods. We have 3 periods here, and see a forecast. So nice feature, see the videos, play around in your own environment. Then we also have all kinds of different visualizations, the way the data appears. For example, here we're looking at loans by circulation desk in the last 365 days. In a moment, a donut is going to appear. This is the donut. You see it's interactive. You can put your mouse over it. This is just one example of the interactive. For example, here we can see I'm in the social work circ desk. Here I'm in the Gush main circ desk. So interactive, and there's a lot. The Efrat circulation desk. Here, there's all different kinds of visualizations. You can say you want to see this in a table. You can say you want to edit and duplicate this visualization. Then you can have a table on one side. You can put a horizontal stacked bar on the other side. Nice tool. See the videos, see the blogs, and we're sure you'll enjoy. Back to the PowerPoint. Alex, everybody saw my demo in the analytics, and now in the PowerPoint we're back, right? Everything's sharing correctly.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, great. Okay, so the rollout plan here, as you can see, we're now at, I don't even know what we're at right now, September 16th. So we've covered all except the bottom 2 lines. So EU00, EU01, EU02 will be doing October 18th. Then we've got a couple more NA instances. The China instance, November, then we'll be done. So altogether, we've got about half of the instances done. Then we just saw this. This is just an example of a forecast. We saw this, an example of an interactive data visualization. We came out with a new subject area on API usage. This actually originated, unsolicited, but originated from a NIRS request where inside the developers network, it's possible to do reports. And they requested new reports in the developers network, and we said, well, We'll do what you wanted, but on the side, we may as well put this stuff in analytics, because analytics is a lot more powerful. Not just more powerful, it's integrated. You can make a scheduled report, you can make a widget on your dashboard, you can make an API, make it appear somewhere else. So we added a new subject area on API usage. That was in May. And then later on, in September, we made a set of default reports and dashboards. Now, someone once asked at a previous eLuna or Igelu, I remember I was speaking about something, and someone asked, why do we put out a subject area and then later put out the reports and dashboards? Just want to check the time. I got another 12 minutes. So the reason first we put out the subject area, then we put out the set of reports and dashboards is we want to see how that set of reports and dashboards is really going to appear with real live data of a wide variety of institutions. There's over 1,500 live institutions right now. Everybody's working a little differently, to say it modestly. So if we wait until the data is already out there, the subject area is already live, we can test the subject area, we can test the reports and make sure everything's appearing properly. So the subject area came out in May, September, the reports and dashboards. And that brings us to the next topic, which is now we have another subject area which came out in September on analytics objects. Everyone's got their analytics objects list with the widgets, the dashboards, the scheduled reports, the regular reports, scheduled reports, which can go to an FTP server. Now there's a subject area about the analytics objects. And we're planning in 2021, January, to come out with a set of reports and dashboards. And in fact, I want to show a little bit about that right now. If I were to come here into analytics, so I'm going to go now into an area which is still in our development area, but this is what we want to start showing about. I'm going into the community, I'm going into Libris development, I'm going into Yoel, and I'm going into analytics objects. So we've already got a set of reports. For example, customized objects with no users. People have today, especially places that have been live for a long time, analytics objects that nobody is using. And it's making a very long list that makes things kind of difficult to work with. Here we have analytics objects with at least one user. So we see everything that is being used. We can also take a look at the most popular, top most popular scheduled reports. These are the most people assigned to. The Gietzione active student fines and fees for the previous day, 55 users. Beitar active loan count, 53 users. These are the most popular. So it gives an indication to the institution what is and is not being used. Those which are not being used at all can probably be removed from the list, clean it up, or perhaps they're not being used because they're really not useful and they can be improved. Back to the presentation. Now here we're going to solicit some help from the audience. Much of what we've done, let me put this into the regular mode, much of what we've done since the beginning of analytics really, has been with user groups. The most popular in the last 2-3 years has been a group with the counter reports, a group with moving to Sushi Counter 5, and a group moving originally to OBI 12 and then to Oracle Analytics Server. And without those groups, we really couldn't have done what we did. Everybody on those groups was very helpful. And what we want to do now, 2021, is renovate the sets of default reports and dashboards. There are sets of defaults, reports, and dashboards which have really been there since 2013, some of them. And then they've been added over the years, and when there was a new field, we put a new field in, but we never really came back and said, is this what we want to be showing? Alma has changed, analytics has changed, the world has changed, we know, especially in the past 7-8 months. So we'd like to redo or at least reevaluate. If they don't need any change, fine, but at least reevaluate. Is our sets of default reports and dashboards really optimal for all institutions, including a small liberal arts college and a super large national library and a middle of the road academic college offering PhDs in psychology and a medical school and a law school? We want to go through that. Anyone who would like to be a part of that, you can contact me. Here's you'll even see in the recording, those of you who are seeing the recording, contact me and say my institution would like to be part of this group working on reevaluating, renovating the sets of default reports and dashboards. Contact me here. We'll set up a group. Typically, we set up a group at Basecamp, and we'd like to redo that with the assistance of the community. Here we're calling for the community. If you're willing to be a part of this group, write to us, and we'd be glad to work with you. Okay, next. Okay, so the analytics object subject area, we just saw that. We're going to be making the reports for the subject area, which already came out in September. So everyone can come and take advantage of that come January. Subject area for local authority records. This is something which originated in the Ideas Exchange. But over the years, we've heard various people asking about it. Look, there are countries where the local authorities is very popular, and there are countries where the local authorities is, let's say, less than popular. So some people really don't care about having a subject area of local authorities. Some do. And for those who do, these are the kind of things they want measured. We're in touch with various communities. Chile is an Alma community that wants to have local authorities. There's the libraries there. Spain also, and some other places. So these are the kind of questions we want to be able to answer. How many authority records do we have? Who created them? When did they create them? How many were created on a yearly basis, a monthly basis? How were they created? What headings do they belong to? Are they LC names? Are they LC subjects? Are they linked? Are they not linked? Etc. So that's coming. DARA recommendations. DARA, as you know, has grown more and more and more. The vast majority of institutions are using DARA. When I say using DARA, it means they've checked the box for data sharing inside Alma. They need to prove that they want to use the data sharing for DARA recommendations, and they have. And now we want to have that in analytics so they can see how is it being used. There were, over the years, and I can say years already, DARA's been around for a while, various suggestions. For example, there's one about high request items. There's a DARA recommendation, items requested more than X amount of times in a certain amount of period. But you can't get a report of all the bibliographic records in an easy way. So this is going to include, among the various parts of the DARA recommendations, also the shared bibliographic details folder. So therefore, you'll be able to see what are the subjects of the high request items. That's an important tool for collection management. You see what kind of subjects are the high request ones. Maybe that's where our collection management should be going in the future. DV projects. You saw 2 DV projects right now. In visualization, it's called a project. You do create project. By the way, we're going to have a session just on data visualization. Once it's entirely complete, we still have a few more EU instances, a few more NA instances, and the CN instance, China instance. Once that's over, we're going to have either one or at least a series, probably a series, of sessions about using data visualization, so stay tuned for that. And like we have now default reports, default dashboards for Alma Analytics, we want to have the same for the data visualization projects. So that's what we've got there. Then comparative collection analysis. Now, I know we've been talking about this for years. Maybe there's some of you out there saying, oh, another time he's talking about comparative collection analysis. He's been saying that for since 2018. You're right. We've been saying that since 2018. A necessary, mandatory part of being able to do that comparative collection analysis has been that InMemory that we spoke about at the beginning. Comparative collection analysis takes a set of institutions and does a comparison of their collection to see who holds what, so there's not duplicate, they can weed. And in the future for collection development, they won't be ordering the same thing provided they have resource sharing. Anyway, to do the comparative collection analysis across a series of institutions, you need to work with large amounts of data. Big data is a understatement. Large amounts of very large institutions together. So we've got the InMemory now. We've worked on institutions with over 20 million records in the network zone. Everything's good. We're confident now that we can do the comparative collection analysis. We have the infrastructure. It's part of the plan. Support full Dublin core. This is my last one. Then we'll have 2-3 minutes for questions, comments. Dublin core. More and more institutions are using Dublin core primarily, if not exclusively, for records which have digital representations. Until now, only a small portion of the Dublin core fields appear in the shared bibliographic details folder, and we're going to be adding more of those into the shared bibliographic details folder. Alex, that's what I've got. We've got, I see 1.5 minutes, questions, comments. Has anything come in?
Indeed. That was great. Thanks, Yoel. There's one question, and it's about the freeze period during the installation of the new Oracle version.
Excuse me, it's the what?
The freeze period. So if you can just confirm what exactly will be frozen when people are having their upgrade.
Okay, if you have not yet migrated from OBI 11 to data visualization and Oracle Analytics Server, the freeze is that you will not be able to edit any Alma Analytics reports and then see those changes after you move to OAS. We take a date, the start date of the migration. From that date, we start migrating the reports. So if you change them between the freeze date and the final migration, you won't see the change in the final migration. That's what the freeze means.
Okay, and we should remind people that before the date of the migration, they need to copy off their personal folder, don't they, the reports?
Okay, we've been extremely, I don't know what the word, prudent?
Yeah.
Since the first one, we send out these constant reminders starting about a 1.5 weeks before the cutover to the Alma list, and keep telling people over and over. And for the APAC region, we took the China area, Taiwan, Japan, we translated and sent it out. So I think we're covered on the warnings in advance now. I admit, apologize, and fully admit, for the first wave of migrations, we weren't as diligent as we could have been in warning people. It was written, but we didn't really warn them enough. Now we are. We've taken that into account. We're sending out constant messages to the list.
It was just in case the person who asked the question hadn't picked that bit up. But that's okay. Right. We don't have any more questions, but oh no.
Okay.
We do.
Okay.
We've got, is complex SQL and Oracle function using reports planned to be supported, included for networks?
The extent of the ability to use the SQL within a report is the same as it has always been in the Oracle Analytics Server. Nothing has changed between the OBI and that. It's still the same, that if you're doing some kind of a filter here, you can still convert that filter to SQL and write whatever you want in SQL. No change has been done with that from the OBI 11 to the upgrade to the OAS.
Perfect. So one last thing, which is a comment Eva is very excited for the comparative collection analysis capabilities. So
Okay,
thank
we're excited too. Who is that who said it? Because maybe we'll work directly. Eva?
Eva, I hope you don't mind. Eva Stano?
Okay, I'll look up later. Where's that from? I'm going to write it down right now. Oh, contact me, Eva, please.
Yeah. So if there are no more questions,
right here, you can
sorry.
contact me. Okay.
Just to remind,
Contact me if you want. I'm just sending this out to Eva because she sent something.
Okay.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Alex, and thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you. Just to say to people, the session is recorded. It will be available until the 7th of October, I think it is, openly, and then it will be on the Igelu website behind a login. So it will be there for other people to see who haven't been able to attend. So thanks again, you all. Nice to see you.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, everyone. Bye.